Hi everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zurcher and I'm continuing on my next vessel. This is the second one I've done, this kind of three-dimensional mixed media piece, and I'm incorporating a lot of the comments that you guys had for me on the first vessel, and feeling really excited about how this is going. And so I'm going to turn you around and you can see what I'm working on, and at a certain point I'm going to start stitching, and if you have something to stitch with, you know, or paint or whatever medium you're using, come and create with me while I put some of these things, sort of attach them, and I have a lot of other ideas that I'll introduce as the video goes on, but yeah, I'm getting back to the vessel. I'm also going to start uploading the my hiking trip, which was really intense and wonderful. As many of you know, I turned 64, and it was my birthday present to myself, was to sign up for this group up in Jokkmokk, which is the Swedish Lapland. It's above the Arctic Circle, and it was really amazing. So, you know, if you don't want to follow the travel videos, you can just subscribe. When you hit the subscribe, that little bell, it'll say all, or you can pick what you want to subscribe to. You don't have to subscribe to those, or if they pop up and you are subscribing, you just don't watch them. But for me, this hiking trip was, well, first of all, I love hiking, but I also wanted to challenge myself by hiking, carrying a pack that had my tent, my food, my sleeping bag, all the stuff that I was carrying with me. And it was probably about 55 pounds, and which was a bit more than I've done ever. And so I just felt really good that I was doing this crazy thing. And I met some really lovely people in the group. There were 3 Swedish people, which includes Matti, the guide of Jokkmokk Guides is his company, and I'll put all the links for that video there. But and a young man who is from Poland, and who was just lovely. So I will be posting those videos as well in the next coming days. But for this video, I'm just working on this mixed media vessel. So come along with me. And don't forget to wait till the end, because that's where I post some of the ideas I've been talking about that I haven't accomplished yet, but that I do before I upload this video. I take shots of some of the finished stuff. I wanted to show you a little of what I've been working on. So I've added quite a bit. I'm doing little darts at the bottom to give me that, you know, thing that I didn't do on the first vessel. Thanks to so many of your suggestions, which I listened to and have incorporated. So what I've got going here is this. I've added my burlap. I've got a lot of stuff just pinned, and now I'm going to start stitching a lot of this down little by little, and then photographing it. You know, I like to do that. I like to photograph as I go. I'm going to attach these here like that so that they become of a piece. Add this along here, maybe leaving a little gap of this paper. This was on the airplane, you know, where they give you earbuds, or like ear stops, you know, on these long flights. So that's what that is. And these are actually the earplugs that I couched down. Yeah, so I'm going to attach all this stuff, start stitching it down with different stitches, and then see where I am, you know. I still feel like there's a lot of white on this whole strip here, and I'm not loving that. But there's a lot going on too, so I need to just get these things stitched and then sort of contemplate my next move. But I'm really liking how this is going. I feel like with this with these darts all over that I'm doing at various points along the bottom, as well as this gathering, which I'm going to do in the middle parts to kind of get that poofing out. I'm going to have a really nice shape that I had wanted for the first one, didn't get, and was kind of okay, you know, like I was okay with that, and I went with that and just made it into what it is, and it's fine. But this one, I really do want to try to achieve that original plan. So that's where it is. I'm going to thread up some stuff, and then I'll turn the camera back on, and I'll stitch and grab some stitching, and we'll stitch together. All right, so I have a whole bunch of stuff pinned, and it feels a little overwhelming, to be honest. And so what I usually do when I'm feeling totally overwhelmed, well, the first thing is to do the things that are going to go underneath, right? So this is over, so I'm going to do this and the red. And yeah, maybe I'll just, like, let's just keep it simple and stitch that. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pinpoint all the different things. And then I'm going to thread up a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to thread up some wool thread for this, but I'm also going to thread up some alternate colors in case I decide, well, I don't want it just red, you know, I'd like to have it pop or something. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to source threads and start pulling stuff up. I have very little space here. I'm working at about, I don't know, 25 inches by whatever this width is. It's small, but it's doable. And if I cleaned up, I'd have more space. So maybe, you know, I don't want to get waylaid with cleaning up though. So I'm just going to pull threads. That's what I'm doing. Remember I said I was going to do the red? Well, I decided to do this because this is part of this piece and I wanted to add it. So I just started stitching. I'm using an Aurora from the Thread Gatherer, and I'm just doing a running stitch because that's what I did up here. I did actually one running stitch here, and then I did 3 here, and this is in a the Thread Gatherer Silk and Pearl, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I'm just going to flip this guy over while I stitch this part down. And because it's so bulky, I actually can't stack the needle with any stitches, so I'm just going in and out. It's a little more tedious, but it's fine. And I left this side frayed on purpose because I kind of liked the way that looked. And even though I want this to read as a continuation of this, it's actually not the exact same fabric. And or it is the same fabric, it's just not the same color. So yeah, I figure, why not? Now there's a dart underneath here where I gathered the burlap to make it kind of do the poof that I want. So maybe I can do at least one. So I'm just doing this. I'm getting rid of my pins as I go. A couple other things, and you know, I have these ideas and then I forget that I had them. So I have to bring things out, or I have to make notes to myself, otherwise I will not remember. But one of the things I want to include is some of my collages that I had done a couple of summers back. It was actually right after I got back from the Paris artist retreat in Paris, outside of Paris. I had access to my upstairs neighbor's art studio, and so I did a whole bunch of collage, acrylic, paint, different papers, and I'd like to use some of those in here the way I did with the other vessel, where I incorporated that some of that stuff. So that I have you know, this, and I don't like it as a composition, but I do like bits of it that I could cut out and use. It's also on this kind of canvas, which is nice, so that'll stitch, I think, quite easily, even though there's a lot of paint on there and other stuff. Okay, so I think I can go ahead now and stitch my wool piece down. I'm not going to do 3 running stitches down this side because I have the frayed edge. You'll also notice that I'm not stitching this down. It's getting attached by the stitching here, by this stitching, and yeah, I don't worry about it. It's going to all get attached eventually, and whatever doesn't get attached, I go back and can fill in. Start stitching this down. And what I want, oh, and I pulled threads, so if you can see, these are my threads that I've pulled for this. And these are my all the little needles that I've got going. Of course, none of them, I think, are the right color for this. I think I'll just do it in this. I also have this, which I rather like. This is the Silken Pearl, and this is a bit brighter, but it's also fun. This is the number 3 Pearl Cotton, soft cotton from Painters. Or do I just stitch it? I'm just going to stitch it with this. Mostly, honestly, because I've got it on a needle. And sometimes that's just all it needs is for me to choose it. It's not because of pure laziness. I think I'm going to do yeah, I think I'll just stitch this down, and then I can always come back and do something later if I feel like it, and if I don't, it's stitched. I may paint on top of this. I might, yeah, I don't know, but it'll at least be positioned in the right place. Boy, I just, I didn't do a YouTube video of the Armory show, but I did post it over on Instagram, a number of videos. One live that I took of this woman, Candy Lopez, who has a YouTube channel. She's much more active on Instagram, but she has a YouTube channel as well. And she is just, what a talent. This woman is just incredible and just lovely. I went up to her. I had posted some of her work, I guess a year ago, and because I was just so excited by it. She does these portraits in thread that's unlike anything you've ever seen, and they're just huge too. You can't really photographs and video don't do it justice. You really have to see it in real life. They're just absolutely incredible. And so, like, she was just such a rock star at the Armory show. It was just incredible to see. So I did a live video of her booth, and then I did another video showing my two favorite artists, she being one of them, and this other one was this knit. He does knit. His name is Channing Hansen, and he's out in LA, and he uses computer algorithms to to tell him what to knit. That he feeds in information, and I think there's something about chanting. I think his grandfather, or I don't remember, but his father or his grandfather did this chanting. There's a name for it. I'd never heard of it. In any case, he inputs that into the computer. He's a coder, and as well as a knitter, and then it comes out with these, what the computer thinks the music sounds like, and it's just amazing, just really interesting. And evidently he's colorblind as well, so it tells him what colors to use. That was really cool. So those were the two highlights. And then I did another video on Instagram of just all the things that spoke to me, and of course they were almost all fiber of some kind. What was cool about it is that every year we go, and every year there's more textile, and it's just, it's thrilling. It's really thrilling to just see that finally this work is really getting represented. It's getting the attention it deserves. It's really interesting. People are doing amazing stuff, very innovative. Gone are the days of going to that show and just seeing nothing but oil and on canvas kind of thing. I mean, which is fine. I mean, I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying I just love seeing the work of often women, not always, but often, and the textures and the mixed media, and it's just really exciting. The Armory, they have an Armory on Park Avenue in the winter, but the Armory show that I'm referring to is the one at the Javits Center in New York City, and it's every September. I believe it's the weekend after Labor Day, but I could be wrong. I tried to find what the schedule was for next year, because I know some people are interested in trying to come to New York for it, but I could not find. Maybe they haven't scheduled it yet. I don't know. I would think they would have, but I couldn't find the information. But if you Google Armory Show Javits, in a couple weeks, maybe they'll have the next dates up. The other one is Park Avenue, and that's in January, which is also great, interesting. But, yeah. My husband and I saw a lot of art this weekend. There were so many different shows. It was pretty cool. Okay, so now it's kind of invisibly done, and I'll move on. So now I think I'm going to do the red, and I'll figure out what thread. Well, I have this, and it's already on, so maybe I'll just use that. I don't know. I'll see what other choices I have. I wanted to show you what I've been up to. So I've been adding darts at the bottom to give this vessel a rounded effect, and I have added. This is it was a kind of, I don't know, experiment of painting and collage, and I did this quite a while ago, but the colors are working, so I thought, well, I'll add that. So I had to add a little triangle here to sort of get this all moving the way I wanted. But and I did a lot of punching of the silk throaster waste from Steph Francis, which I just love. I love this stuff. It's so great. And I did the same up here. And I've added another piece here, which I'm going to put underneath like this. And then I'm thinking that I have this piece of wool, which I'm going to add here and stitch all that down. And then I'm going to add this in like that, covering that black circle, at least some of it, so that it's sort of doing something, I don't know, something like this. Yeah, that was it. Right, so kind of like that. And then this is going to get pulled back a bit, more like that. So I'll, do whatever I need to do there. And then I'm going to add this bit here. So it's going to look something like that. So yeah, I've got a bit here that will need to get filled in, or something else in here, but that's what I've got going so far. And then on this edge, which is kind of falling off the edge here, so I'll move this back. So I've got this, and then I've got this whole area here, and I've got to deal, so I have to figure out this part, and I have this other piece here, which is going to go like that, and up, and then there's going to be something filling in here and more up there. But yeah, it's definitely giving me that bubble effect that I want. And as I get up here, I'm going to have to start, closing it in. But I've done quite a bit of work, and I'm liking what's happening here. And I definitely like this addition, which it's interesting how these colors are all working nicely together. There's a big swath here of this kind of background white, and I'll deal with that later, but I can certainly add something, you know, to other things. That's where we're at right now.